What's up, YouTube family? It is K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for y'all today. Um, yeah, so let's get right to it. I just wanted to make this quick little stream for the most beautiful, awesome fighter by the name of Clarissa T-Rex Goat Shields. For those of you that don't know, she just lost her second MMA bout against Abigail Montes out of Guadalajara, Mexico. This is out of the PFL MMA Fight League that Clarissa had, I guess, joined in the past, and she's now fighting professionally as an MMA fighter to make more money. I would assume to get her fair, just due. Knowing that boxing isn't giving her what she demands, but MMA is her second sport. For those of you that don't know, she's not as good as many people would want her to be, but she's definitely getting up there in skill and class. Here's my thoughts on this fight. I thought this fight was very competitive. Abigail Montes, she's not that much of a ground game fighter. She has a decent stand-up, to say the least, and she gave Clarissa rounds to actually think about, what she was doing wrong in the fight. And I mean, for a girl being 2-0, especially a Mexican MMA fighter like Abigail Montes, that was a good style matchup for Clarissa. It wasn't somebody that was like super duper difficult. Like, she had good ground game, but but her stand up game, like her striking game, is just not on point. No, she definitely went up against a good high level prospect, and that's what I love out of MMA, to see the progression of those fighters being good up and coming step up level competition. And that's what I pretty much advocate for boxing, where if boxing had had shit like that, where it was always leveled competition, where you kept scaling every time you get up to those harder fights, and especially in a competitive fight league, that will definitely garner more skill and more confidence in a fighter to be prepared and ready for the top level competition. But for Clarissa Shields, she did amazing. Much love and respect goes to her, including her team. I kind of felt like her trainer should have been a lot more assertive to her when she was being put off to the ground, because that's really her biggest weakness. She's really not good at wrestling, and I think that she really needs somebody that could really teach her how to wrestle, because wrestling is a very, very dangerous sport, especially in MMA, when you're going to bring that to the cage. And I think what Clarissa needed to do in this fight was that she needed to be more assertive to the ground. And the problem with what she didn't do on the ground was that she needed to be more active on her feet when she was going to be put to the ground, where she had to break out of the takedown, and she had to force her she needed to force her upper body strength more on Montes, so that way she could gain more momentum against her, and then she could beat her down to the ground. Because what Montes actually did very well was that she was holding Clarissa down, but she really wasn't doing anything to the ground. She was getting a little punch here, a little punch there. But Clarissa, when she was fighting off the stand up, she was doing very well. She was giving Montes problems, and I definitely thought round 1 and 2 was Clarissa's rounds. I really only gave Montes 1 round out of 3, but I guess for some weird reason the judges had it 2-1 against Clarissa, so I wasn't really expecting Clarissa to actually lose that fight. I actually thought that was Clarissa's night to win, but unfortunately, I guess judges in MMA, they're very counter-biased when it comes to certain fights. And I mean, good enough, I guess Montes, she sort of won. To me, from my own perspective of judging that fight, I personally thought Clarissa won the fight, simply because Montes, she really had nothing going for her when she brought Clarissa to the ground. She was just basically humping right in front of her and just like, I'm not trying to be weird like that, but she was just putting her body weight on Clarissa, and Clarissa, she obviously was trying to fight her way out of it. And yeah, she got like, a couple punches here and there, but Clarissa, she was doing her thing. She was still trying to break out of like the ground game, and she was trying to get back up off like, off the mat or off the ground, and then she could start applying more pressure to Montes, because Montes, she was very, very afraid of what Clarissa was going to do when she was going to get off from the ground. So what did she do best? She tried to smother Clarissa with her size, and then that's what made Clarissa struggle trying to break out of what the ground clinch, where Montes, she was just hugging onto Clarissa's body, which was weird, and I don't understand how Montes was really winning round 2 and 3. I thought Clarissa, she had like the upper edge of beating Montes to those bigger punches, but I guess, this is why MMA is a very good sport, because no matter what I believe what Clarissa or Montes should have done better, it still brought the best out of both fighters. And just because you lose really doesn't mean anything. Like, I pretty much treat it like wrestling, where it's just like, okay, look, I wrestled, shit. I wrestled in high school, and I went 27 and 3 at the JV level. So, when I faced those guys at the JV level, I was still facing guys that were coming off of varsity too. And I was like, fighting against other guys in tournaments that were, high level, like national tournament champions or whatever type of shit that, I was going to get myself into. Like, I was going up against those top level guys. But when I lost, I did not just get pissed off and I was like, fuck this shit. This shit is, all fucking bad for me, blah, blah, blah. No, I kept getting better, because you want to know why? Because that is what brings you into becoming a world championship level caliber athlete. That's what makes you into the fighter or the wrestler or the, competitor of your nature, of who you are. That's what brings the best out of you. So losses don't really mean shit. Losses are actually, like, honestly, like, look, nobody don't want to lose, in life, we all have to lose in order to win. But the problem is that when you lose off of something that that you could do better, it is devastation at its finest, but it's a blessing in disguise to help you get mentally focused when you don't want to lose no more. And losing is basically motivation. Like, yes, it may seem a little bit crazy that I say that, but it motivates you to get more pissed off at what you should have done better. And then you get better as that athlete to grow into a more hungrier, competitor for your next outing. And but the thing is that I think honestly, like, when it comes to, I don't know, it's just really weird how things had to go with this fight. But it was really like that type of fight where, it could have gone either way. And I thought Clarissa, she did what she had to do. But I think this is good experience for her to like to build herself up, and then she could definitely turn into a good fighter. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the next one, because Clarissa Shields, she's definitely, not the best MMA fighter, and she admits it. She's obviously doing it to obviously get a better home versus boxing, not giving her, about the love that, or basically the love and credibility that she deserves. So MMA is basically the second option that opened arms for her, and I'm definitely proud of her. And, shout out to Montes. She did her thing. But I personally didn't really see her do that much in that fight to really earn the victory. Obviously, I don't really know too much about these fighters that come out of PFL, but I guess PFL is just that type of network where you have to respect what you get out of it, and then you understand what is good out of these fighters that are going to get better into the future. And The only thing that I'm gonna say about Clarissa is that she is definitely a true warrior. She is a savage. She knows what she wants to do when she's focused, and she's a strong woman, man. I definitely give my heart and support out to her. Much love to the GOAT, Clarissa Shields. I would definitely advise her to get better at wrestling because wrestling is a very, very big keystone into MMA. Especially when I actually got into MMA training myself back into the past when I was younger. I want to say in my early teens or like my late teens, probably 18, 19. But yeah, like, it's no joke. You have to be ready for those situations when you got like, a bigger, heavy set fighter like Montes that will bring you to the ground and use her weight to try to pressure you and try to get you more exhausted. So I truly believe if she can make those massive improvements on that, she'll definitely beat the crap out of fighters like Montes and plenty of other styles to help her get ready for the world title level. So whatever may come out of her progression into MMA, I would definitely like to see those improvements, and I personally believe that Clarissa Shields, she'll elevate herself to become a high level fighter when she understands her style and she understands what she needs to do when she gets into those fights. Because I'd say at now she's at a novice level. So, there's really no shame in her losing now. And I say it's better for her to go through that because any athlete doesn't want to lose, but at the same time when you do lose it's actually better for you to lose now earlier in your career versus losing later where it's like, oh wow, you never gone through all these tougher bigger names in competition or these bigger tougher styles in competition. So if you were to lose to those tougher styles later on in your career, that's going to hurt you more than it's going to benefit you. So I would say looking at this fight, this is a good mal benefit, and I say that with very little satisfaction to it because I obviously didn't want to see Clarissa lose. I thought that she had her second fight in the bag, but obviously you have to come to reality that this is MMA, this is not boxing. At least in MMA, losses really don't mean anything, but in the sport of boxing, for some weird fucking reason, losses mean something when we all know that all the greatest fighters in the world have taken losses. And guess what? They've never turned into a different person unless they had those losses psychologically destroy them, where they're just never the same fighter. Like when we see Roy Jones take his biggest losses to Antonio Tarver and all those other guys that beat the living crap out of him. He was just never the same fighter because he allowed that mentality to get through his head. And, at the same time, he wasn't taking care of his body all the way. And then, look at how he progressed as a fighter. He started to just fade away because he never had that same drive when he was back at, when he was doing good back in his prime. So I would say for Clarissa, this is a great learning lesson. I obviously did not want to see her lose. Manta, she definitely did her thing, I guess. Much credit to her. She definitely did what she had to do. But it wasn't no blowout. For sure. Clarissa, she definitely put up a fight, and Montes, she was definitely afraid of Clarissa's power that was definitely coming to her, and she definitely felt those punches when they were fighting on the stand-up. So Clarissa definitely did what she had to do. It was just basically the ground game that, for some weird reason, she was being beat to the ground, and the judges were trying to favor that to Montes to say that she had better ground game, which she was just basically smothering her body onto Clarissa's body. She wasn't really doing anything. Like, yeah, she got, a couple good shots on the ground, but Clarissa, she wasn't getting hit a lot on the ground. Montez, she was actually afraid to even let her hands go when she was on the ground. But for some weird reason, when she was, basically fighting her off the stand up, Clarissa, she was landing way better shots on Montez when Montez was not even being persuasive enough to try to go in to try to shoot shots at Clarissa when she was trying to jab her and then try to take a shot at her, in which Clarissa, she caught her with like that mean uppercut, and then Montez, she got too afraid, and then that's when she I want to say it was like on killer instinct mode to try to get Clarissa to the ground, because she thought like, okay, well, I seen her fight before in her pro debut, so I'm gonna take advantage of her to bring her to the ground because she's not that good yet. So I would definitely say that was like the biggest strength that Montez used, but she wasn't using her skills enough. So that's what made her look sloppy, and I kind of felt like Clarissa, she definitely won round two because she definitely started hitting her, and then, Montez, she had to go to last resort mode, and then that's really what I guess made her win this fight. Yeah, I don't personally think that was really her victory, but I guess, look, if Clarissa took this loss like a true warrior and she doesn't give two craps about that, by all means, good for you. She did a fantastic job to the best of her ability, and I have nothing but love and respect to her. And hopefully she could run it back with Manta. She could knock her ass out. Don't bring it to the judges. And yeah, just keep getting better. That's really what I'm going to have to say, because I would definitely see some big issues coming to Clarissa when she faces somebody that has a good Brazilian jiu-jitsu background, especially like a woman from Brazil. Those fighters are definitely going to give her problems, and I would say those are like the bad style matchups that she needs to be ready for, because it's not going to be like, what you see at a boxing where you see some girls that don't want to fight other girls. Like, there's no ducking and dodging in MMA, at least for that manner. But what I'm going to say, for my final thoughts for what Clarissa needs to do to work on her skills, she needs to get better at the ground game. You need to get better at watching for those shots. You got to outread your opponent when they're about to go in, when they're going to pressure you in with that size. And then she needs to start letting her hands go when she's in the clinch, because what a lot of fighters like to do, they like to get up inside with you when they're tired and shit, and they want to try to smother their body to get you tired, and then that's what helps them get ready to go after for that, for that one shot, whether that's going to be a double leg or single leg takedown. That's what a lot of wrestlers do, especially when they're trying to go toe to toe. But in MMA, they do the same exact thing. They are just basically smothering their weight onto you to get you tired, and then when you're exhausted, boom, they get you right to the ground. They're going to pressure you. They're going to make you feel tired. They're going to make you feel defeated, and then that's when they're going to try to mentally destroy you by trying to get you, get you more exhausted to the ground, and then try to beat you down to the ground game. So when Clarissa, when she works on those skills to keep improving and try to get better, she'll definitely get better, and I could definitely see that happening for her. But I would definitely say for her camp, they really need to get somebody that's really good at wrestling and make her work better off the ground game. Don't focus on the stand-up, because she's good at the stand-up, but you got to watch out for the ground game, because if she's going to try to feint jab you, but then she's going to try to shoot you, you got to be ready for that. And I think when Clarissa, when she gets ready for that, she's going to be really crisp, and her skills are going to be on point. So this is just the beginning for Clarissa Shields. I'm very proud of her. I really hope that she does very well, and I really hope that she brings herself to the next level, because just because you lose now doesn't mean that you're going to be crappy later in your career. I think she's a tremendous MMA fighter for starters, as far as what she does now off the stand-up, but her biggest improvements as far as weaknesses go has to be to the ground game, because when you get that ground game ready, you're going to be really, really prepared once you know what you're doing to the ground. But anyways, much love and respect to Clarissa Shields. Shout out to Abigail Montes. She did her thing, but as much as I don't think that she won, all credibility to her, because she obviously had a little bit more veteran level IQ, but it was a pretty close 50-50 fight. So I definitely like to see Clarissa back in the ring pretty soon. I believe she's going to be fighting back in boxing, hopefully later on by the spring, early of next year. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that, and I can't wait, man. I really can't wait. And yeah, I'm just like very happy, man. She definitely did what she had to do, and I am just, oh my god, like honestly, Clarissa, much love and respect to your bravery of going in there, especially, very green in the sport for MMA. Me personally, I would never do that shit. You should do a sport that you feel comfortable doing, and when you're ready to do it, you are ready to do it. El Gallo, get the fuck off my channel, you piece of shit. I do not need racist assholes like you coming onto my channel. I don't understand why the fuck you guys like to come on here and try to troll. Same thing with you, racist ass faggot, Evander Holyfield, which you're not really real Evander Holyfield, so get the fuck off my channel. Fuck you guys. I'll beat the shit out you guys in real life. Salute to you, Diana Branch. I hope everything's well. She said, I gotta go watch this fight when it's uploaded. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try to upload it myself if I could at least try to bring in the highlights. But it was a good fight. Honestly, I really thought Clarissa, she did well off the stand up, but you got to remember this is MMA. This is not boxing, so your footwork is basically dependent off the ground game. And for me, as a former wrestler out of high school, you have to be ready for those like double leg or single leg takedowns, or either fireman grabs, or whatever type of defensive reads that you have to watch out for when someone's about to shoot you. Because the problem with MMA fighters is that a lot of them are too worried about getting punched in the face, but you got to be worried about getting put to the ground, because if you're not ready for the ground game, you're going to be taken out. Someone's going to either guillotine, chokehold you, or someone's going to either pressure you to the cage, and then they're either going to suplex you, or they're going to use more body weight pressure to make you feel uncomfortable. And my coach had always told me, especially when I used to wrestle in high school, if someone's going to pressure you with their body weight, you got to force him to the opposite side. So what you do after that is that you have to force his back foot basically to the opposite angle, where you can get your leg above his leg, and then you're able to get your your body pressure against him to get that proper takedown. Because of the good thing about fighting people that are more that are more off balance, that are not good with their footwork off the ground game, is that when you're able to use your pressure, especially when you're when you're using your technical ability to switch your feet, and then you're able to execute the proper mechanisms to bring your opponent down to the mat. You have to make sure that you have your body position in place to make sure that you're able to shift the opponent's weight against you, and not have them smother against your body weight. Because if you do that, you're going to allow yourself to gas out a lot, and you're not going to be able to keep up as the rounds keep on going. Because once you get into that third period or second period, it's just not good, because you're going to be tired as fuck, and that's going to show signs of weaknesses to your opponent, where your opponent's going to take advantage of you, and then they're either going to try to tire you out more, and then once you're able to be vulnerable enough to be pinned, then boom, that's it. So I think for Clarissa, she definitely needs to just work on that ground game, because let me tell you, it's no joke. Ground game is very important to do very well in mixed martial arts, and a lot of like, I would personally say, like, at least a good number of mixed martial arts people would agree with me to say, if you want to do good in MMA, you have to be good at wrestling. Wrestling is the keystone to dominating MMA. You've never seen any UFC fighter just go out there, beat the crap out of somebody, and not learn how to wrestle. That don't make any fucking sense. John Jones was a high-class wrestler. Khabib Nurmagomedov, high-class wrestler. Justin Gaethje, high-class wrestler. Matt Hughes, high-class wrestler. Chuck Liddell, high-class wrestler. So these guys that had these great abilities in the UFC, they all knew how to wrestle. Even fucking Usman. Yes, thank you, Diana. Usman, he I want to say he was actually a former wrestler at Michigan State University, if I'm not mistaken, but he's fucking good at wrestling. I am not going to lie and sit here and tell you that you can just do well in MMA without wrestling. No, you have to understand wrestling and you got to be good at it. That's why you see these guys get so tired in the later rounds, because when they have to understand like their conditioning and their endurance level, that's all coming from the ground. That's all coming from the ground game. Yeah, you can get tired when you're on your stand-up, but that's not going to help you. You have to understand like that ground game too, because when someone hits you to the body and then you show like a sign of weakness to your opponent where they could just hit you to the body and then try to take a shot at you and try to get you tired to the ground, they're going to use that as fuel to try to get you down by either submission, or they're going to beat you to the ground game by smothering more weight to your body. Because what they like to do, especially a lot of guys that are bigger, they like to get your weight down to their core, and then they're able to smother more as they're trying to punch you down to the body, and then you can't get back up because your back and shit is already hurt and shit, especially by getting punched to the face and getting punched to the ribs and shit. And then what those people like to do, they like to cradle their legs to your core more, so that way you're not able to get enough breathing room. So that's what allows a lot of fighters to lose, especially off the ground game more, rather than to the stand-up, because just because people are just trying to find that right shot to try to hit you, that don't mean anything. At the end of the day, when you're tagged or when you get clipped, especially whether it's coming to the chin or it's probably going to come to the solar plex or wherever, you still have to worry about that ground game when you get hit. There's no like 10 count in MMA where what the referee is just going to say, okay, down, go back to your corner. No, when you're getting knocked down, if not knocked out, that's it. Like, nobody's not saving you. Someone's going to knock you the F out in an MMA match. In boxing, at least the referee is supposed to do a 10 count. At least the referee is supposed to do that. But there's no rule in MMA that says when you're knocked down, that doesn't mean that the referee is going to keep you away from the other fighter that is going to pummel you to try to make you get knocked out or have you have some recovery time to get back up on your feet. No, that's not going to happen. Someone's going to knock you the F out in a MMA match. And literally, I've seen MMA matches, I want to say I haven't been to one in person, but I've seen some on YouTube, especially locally out here in Albany, especially over at the Rivers Casino over in Schenectady. But I'll tell you, some of those guys that are especially fighting at the amateur level, those guys be fighting crazy. But when they get that one punch or that one kick to the jawline or right to their temple, it's just game over. It's you're not going to get back up from that, especially when someone hits you with 4-ounce gloves and then use all that power from their legs and shit, especially guys that do roundhouse kicks or like I don't know, just like crazy like freestyle kicks that probably karate fighters would be doing, especially in Taekwondo. But nah, man, it's just crazy, man, because MMA to me is just way more brutal than boxing. And when you get knocked down, it's just game over. You have to like be like super duper like very quick on your reaction time to actually like get up from those type of shots, because if you can't get up from those shots, like you're more than likely to get knocked out. And we've definitely seen it when Kamaru Usman, he knocked out Jorge Masvidal. Just like all the crazy ass knockouts that we've seen in UFC that usually end in either one one round or 2 rounds max, especially when it's fighters that definitely know how to hit each other and just knock each other out. Someone's like definitely going to sleep when they get that one big shot off of somebody. But no, like as far as Clarissa, she definitely has dog in her, but the biggest issue is just like you obviously don't want to see her get kicked in the face and then she's just gonna get knocked out by some girl that actually has like a good history in, like, let's just say kickboxing or Muay Thai or just like any of those type of styles. Like that's definitely something that she has to watch out for, because some of them ladies are just killers, man. Like, they're just killers. It's just crazy, enough for me to say that, but like the female competition in MMA has gotten way better compared to women's boxing, sadly. And I'm just saying that for the love of both sports. But women in MMA are just 10 times more brutal in a fight compared to women in a boxing match, sadly. Diana said, I love Masvidal too. Yeah, I love Jorge Masvidal simply because, he's an OG. I personally believe he definitely did what he could. He's definitely one of the best fighters that I like watching out of the UFC. I say at this point he should probably just hang it up, because he's obviously not not the same fighter physically and mentally. So I just personally think he should just let Kamaru Usman take over the torch for the for the division and just move on, man. There's no reason for him to try to tax his body more for more punishment. So I definitely say he needs to move on. I love Masvidal. I'll forever remember all of his great fights, but when your time is up, your time is up, man. This ain't about the NBA. This is combat sports at a higher level where you could easily get killed. But especially in the MMA world, it is 10 times more brutal compared to boxing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I might go to Usman versus Covington too at MSG. Yo, I want to go to that fight so bad, but I just don't know if I'm able to really want to make that trip, because I don't know, man. I don't really like going out to the city like that, especially for sporting events. But I mean, if I really want to go to that fight, I'll definitely want to go there. Yes, it's time for him to retire. Yeah, most definitely. I really think Jorge Masvidal has done enough, and he's definitely done his thing, man. He's definitely a good face and a good name that he has done for the sport. But in regards to that fight for Covington and Usman, I think Usman is gonna beat the living crap out of Colby. I don't think Colby is going to do well. I think he's going to leave his chin wide open like he did in the first fight. And Usman is literally going to just crack his skull and take his Donald Trump supporting ass out of there. It's going to basically just turn into a bludgeoned beatdown. I think Usman is going to beat the living crap out of Colby Covington. And he's going to send his weird little brick marshmallow face out of UFC. So I don't know how that fight's gonna play out, but I'm definitely putting my money on Usman. I don't see Colby getting better from this fight. I think he's gotten worse, and he is just not ready. He's not ready for the Nigerian beatdown that he's gonna receive once again. Uh, I agree. The first was close, but not this time. Yeah, I definitely do agree because the first fight was only close because Usman, he got tired in that fight, and Covington was hitting him with some mean, dirty shots, which I want to say he was fighting a little bit dirty. I don't know if you can agree with me, but if I'm Usman, I should have turned that shit into a dogfight right away, and I should have pressured him to the body more, and then I would have started using a lot of kicks to his faces early. Um, Only because Colby, he don't like it, to anything to the to the body. I could easily tell because his body language just shows like when someone just kicks him, his whole body just shakes up like Tyson Fury. That's a good funny reference, but I mean, like Colby is just not that athletically gifted compared to Usman. Usman, he's way more athletically gifted, and his power just carries on throughout the entire fight. And if he could just land that same big shot that he did to Colby Covington in the first fight, but especially earlier, I could see Colby Covington just going to sleep once again. Because Covington, he just doesn't have a good chin. His chin is just, chinny, and I just see him just breaking down like a bag of damaged goods. It was close though. Colby was better then, but now it's gonna be a bad beating. Usman has gotten better. Yeah, I agree. I think Usman has just developed into such a killer, welterweight fighter. I want to say that's a weight class he fights at, but no, I just think nobody just can't mess with him, man. He's just he's just developed such a damn good name where he's just like one of the most dangerous fighters in the division. And until somebody is worthy enough to give him a fight of his life where he loses, respectfully, it's definitely not going to be Colby Covington winning that fight. I'm going to have him beat him. And I could actually just take a look at the rankings right now because I'm going to do that. Yeah, I believe he fights at UFC welterweight rankings. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure after he beats him up, which I'm definitely seeing him win. But we're going to go to yep, right here. So if he beats Colby Covington, the second or the next guy after that will be Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, I want to say he's a decent fighter. I mean, he's 20-4, but he's not that good with his striking. His grappling is okay, but in his last fight, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he won that fight or he lost it, but he's not really that decent of a fighter. I'm not really gonna be saying that he's gonna be giving Usman problems, but I believe he had fought Usman in the past, back in UFC 258. But in his last fight, he fought Thompson. He beat him to a unanimous decision, but the fight before that, he got knocked out by Usman, so he got KO'd. And then he beat Woodley, which I do remember that fight back from 2020. So I mean, if anything, there's really no good competition that's really worthy enough to beat him. If anything, there's just really nobody that I could see here taking him down. Usman is definitely one of the most dangerous fighters ever. And I mean, even if we move up to middleweight with Israel Adesanya, we got Robert Whittaker, who's I don't really see Robbie beating Israel in a second fight. But if that fight were to happen again, I would definitely think Robert is just gonna get knocked out once again. Because Usman, I want to say his style is similar to Israel's style, so Israel's just gonna probably do the same exact thing. Uh, Diana said Usman has earned my respect, and John Jones needs to sit his ass all the way down. I'm tired of John Jones. Burns already got beat by Usman. Yeah, definitely. Um, I just think John Jones, he just needs to like get off of drugs, man. Like, like I personally used to love John Jones when he was on the come up, but it's just like I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know what his mindset is at. I think it's just, he's just been through so much outside of, MMA where, he has such a good life, but, like, I really want to say, that the drug itself is just taking his life away. And I really hope he gets help because, I don't hate John Jones. He's a really great role model to, to the youth, especially, like, when he's not doing stupid crap outside of the UFC, but it's like you could obviously tell that there's something wrong with him mentally and physically, and I don't know. Uh, I just think John Jones, if you're not focused in your career in the UFC and you're doing stupid crap like that all the time, you should just quit MMA, man. Like you really need to go seek help, and you really need to just get away from the fight game, because you can't be like. I'll just use Andre Ward's famous quote where he said, "I'm never gonna lose to a guy that drinks and smokes to beat me," and I could use that same principle to say that I will never lose to a guy that does drugs or drinks and smokes against me. Because I'm never going to let that person beat me, because that's just pure cowardice 101. The fact that a person like John Jones, in which, I like John Jones, I don't think he is one of the greatest fighters ever anymore, because he is just not in the right, state of mind mentally. But at one point in time when he wasn't doing drugs, he was a damn good fighter. But now it's just like he's not that good, and he's putting himself into so much distress and so much destruction outside of his life, where it's like, dude, you really need to seek help, man. And I hope he does, because if he did, if he ever makes a proper clean return to the UFC, I would really like to see him face Israel Adesanya and all those guys. So. John is a repetitive PED user. Oh, really? Well, yeah, I've always knew that, but it's like, I want to say, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, didn't John Jones do drugs when he was a champion? But I want to say, like, on the come up, when he started his MMA career, he wasn't really doing drugs as far as I know. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with that statement, because it's like, he hadn't been the same fighter when he was taking drugs, and now you see the skill set depreciating, because it's like he's not really like knocking people out when he was coming up early in his career. Yeah, like he had some good close 50-50 matchup performances, but still it was like as he got older, he obviously did it, and every time when he got caught, it was like, the UFC suspended him, and what, like you guys, I don't know, the UFC should have definitely like banned him from the sport once he got caught once, if not more than once. So it's just like, to me, like I just personally think Dana White, he's a piece of shit for just not enforcing the rules properly, because I just think like of all the other fights that he had in the past, especially with like guys like Rashad Evans, it's like like what if he cheated in that fight? Oh, 3 times. Yeah, I mean, if he cheated 3 times, it's like 3 strikes, like you should already be out of there. It's just like I would even say after one time, it should be a final warning, and then, once you get caught another time, it's just like, no, just get the hell out of MMA, because it's like, I don't understand like why John would have to cheat, but it's like, but the fact that you have to cheat in order to keep your name relevant at the top just shows how much of a coward you are. And like BFTB says, a coward dies 1,000 times and a hero only dies once. So my final thoughts for Claressa Shields: keep working hard, keep working on your ground game. I hope you do very, very well in PFL. I hope that she does win a world title. Even though that I thought Abigail Montes, she wasn't really doing anything spectacular to win the fight. I thought she could have easily lost that fight, but congrats, maybe. But I hope she could run it back with Clarissa. I would like to see Clarissa knock her out, if not just give a better fight to get the W. But until next time, I can't wait for her boxing fight coming up. I'm pretty sure she's going to fight maybe early spring. So, with her being active like year round with MMA and, boxing, I'm definitely proud of her. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Salute to you, Diana, for coming into the chat. Much love to you. And to hell with you trolls that be popping into my channel. Thank you for the views, obviously, but I don't need you guys here. So, you guys got to get the hell out. Actually, I'm going to just make you a moderator. So, if you can become a moderator, there you go. I already made you into a moderator. So, if you ever see any trolls, Diana, just do your thing. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys later. Much love to the Queen, Claressa Shields, the GWOAT. Also, shout out to Amanda Serrano that showed up to her fight too. So, 2 GWOATs in the making, 24/7. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Thank you. Bye.